Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just The Flash. Not any season specific. Well, I guess technically one of the seasons, but yeah, not season 7. Now, we've had a lot of characters, just come and go from the show, from The Flash, whether that be after being on the show for just a few episodes, like they come and go for a few episodes, maybe they're there for a full season and they go, or they were there for a few seasons and then head off and do something else. And more often than not, we get a proper exit for the character story-wise, but sometimes there are instances where the actor is, say, booked on another show and they were never a full-on regular, for the entire show. And, they're booked on another show for the foreseeable future, which leads to the characters being written out of the show off screen because there's no guarantee that that character can come back, and they'd rather give the character closure in that way rather than leave it in this big grey area and then have to randomly do it later. So, for example, like Julian Albert, Jesse Quick, and Gypsy, to name some examples. But one character that felt like they were written out of the show in a super quick, super rushed, and just weird way, and they never really referenced this character again since that point, is that of Patty Spivot. Now, at the time she was written out, it did feel rushed, as I just said, but I think most of us thought that it was because the back half of the season, that being season 2, was just too jam-packed with stuff to fit her in consistently. And they were building up the Barry and Iris relationship more and more towards that back half as well. So it just felt like maybe creatively it was easier just to write the character out. But wow, an interview with Chantel VanSanten, who played Patty Spivot on the show, has revealed the truth on all of that. So this interview was with TV Line, so we will go over it and explain anything that isn't fully alluded to. As well, Chantel does reveal stuff we didn't know, she doesn't turn it into a full-on diss track and even bring up stuff that was somewhat publicly known as well. So I will explain in some detail, not full detail, but because I don't want to name names of people that I don't want to be named again. But I'll explain maybe what's happening there. But of course, throughout the video, leave your opinions on this. Did you agree with my thoughts in regards to when we were watching season 2 that it felt rushed? And obviously, just chime in with stuff we go through. Bring up throughout the video. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, why not drop a like on the video to show support, especially during this time for the channel. So, we're just going to go through the article because pretty much all of it's relevant. It's actually it's pretty surprising. Usually you get the first third is irrelevant, but most of it's pretty relevant. 5 years ago today, One Tree Hill alum Chantel VanSanten made her debut on the CW's The Flash as CCPD, or Central City Police Department officer Patty Spivot. Yet despite being built up as a love interest for CSI Barry Allen, and thus the third side to a triangle involving Iris, Patty wound up gone in a veritable flash, bum-rushed onto an outbound train midway through season 2. While speaking with TV Line recently about her turn on another and very different superhero show, Amazon's The Boys, where she plays Butch's ex-wife Becca, VanSanten shared that her time on The Flash was cut short by an irritated showrunner. Now, to be clear, VanSanten had zero illusions about Patty being endgame for Barry. Quite the contrary. There are foundational cornerstones in every comic book that fans really are invested in and want to see, and Barry and Iris ending up together was always going to be the ultimate, she acknowledged. Candace Patton's Iris West for the first half of season 2 was dealing with the return of her mother, Francine, and discovery that she had a younger brother, Wally, so I'm sure most of you remember that. I got to be a few stops on the train ride, and I'm so grateful because playing Patty was so much fun, we just had the best time. That best time as a guest star, however, was cut short when VanSanten booked a role on another show, and this other show was Shooter on USA. I think it went for 2 or 3 seasons. Anyway, this despite the fact that she had arranged to finish out season 2 of The Flash. I don't think it was supposed to end as quickly as it did, she said, alluding to the 11th episode of season 2, in which Patty bid Barry adieu and hopped on a train, to Midway City University after learning of his secret identity. I don't know if a whole lot of people know this, but I actually worked it out with my contract so I could finish the whole season and be around, but a showrunner that's no longer on that show was very upset with me, and so he put me on a train all of a sudden, and I left. Now this is where they jump into sort of bringing up who this could have been. Andrew Kreisberg was one of the Flash's season 2 showrunners. Come November 2017, he would be fired by Warner Brothers TV in the wake of numerous allegations of sexual harassment and inappropriate physical contact. So if you don't remember, this is in the whole I think he was one of the I don't think he was one of the first, but he was definitely in that first month or two of the Me Too movement. I think it was Ashley Judd. I think was the actress who started it. It was like the first one to come out, and then it led to like almost dominoes falling. And I think was one of the bigger names that it happened to be completely honest. But obviously he didn't actually leave until like season 4. 2017 was during season 4, I think. Yeah. That season's co-showrunners also included Todd Helbing, who was with The Flash through season 5 and is now in charge of the CW Superman and Lois, and Aaron Helbing, who left The Flash after season 3 to head up History's Nightfall. Now, they do say that WBTV declined to comment on VanSanten's claims, and it could be just because the fact that maybe it's involved with someone that they don't really want to bring up again, so yeah, but I guess maybe they face a responsibility of allowing that to happen. I don't know. After getting shown the passenger train door, VanSanten says she figured, okay, he'll cool down and then I can come back eventually. But so many seasons have passed and Barry is in such a different place as a character now that it would be an odd divergence from the story. Even so, it was a bummer that somebody allowed their own personal feelings to come into the way of what was best for a story, she said. I'm glad that person's gone and they've resolved so many of the issues on the set that were because of him. I'm still friends with a lot of the cast and that feels great. Describing the time she was on The Flash, fun is the word often trotted by the actress. That show had elements of being a badass, fighting bizarre sharks, with gorillas and all sorts of good stuff, she said with a laugh. But then there was this aspect that was like a really funny rom-com with Patty and Barry. I felt as though they were so similar, and it is fun to see that in a female form, somebody that's like him. Between The Flash and now The Boys, VanSanten has brushed up against superhero greatness, and yet she herself has never had the chance to suit up. And mind you, Patty in the comic books at one point takes on the mantle of the motorcycle riding hero, Hot Pursuit. It would be so much fun to do that. I'm crossing my fingers that maybe the run of playing the human being in these type of shows will come to an end and I'll get to don an awesome suit one of these days. But I feel so grateful for all of the different shows that I've gotten to play in because the messages that I've gotten to tell through each character are powerful. I'm really fortunate for that. So that's where the interview wraps. I think there might have been something after that that was sort of irrelevant. Anyway, so that's the end of that interview, which is pretty eye-opening because as I was saying before, right at the beginning of the video, Patty's departure from the show felt really rushed, but as I said also, there was we had some maybe logical theories around okay, well maybe she didn't work in the back half for the most part, so it was easy to, offload her there when she'd sort of maybe served the purpose that they wanted her to serve or something like that. But the fact that this is now shining light on this whole abrupt departure is super interesting. Now, it brings up a couple of questions. The first one is, was it Andrew Kreisberg? Now, the answer to this is most likely. Is it 100%? No, because she doesn't actually name anyone. She just says the showrunner that's no longer there. But every show, either the showrunner of Andrew Kreisberg or the co-showrunners, none of them are there. They're all left. Eric Wallace is now the showrunner who came in during season 4. So he would have had nothing to do with Patty at all. So, and he was he came in as a person just involved in the show in season 4, I'm pretty sure. So he, would have had no dealings with Chantel VanSanten. So it's either Andrew Kreisberg, or one of the Helbings, but I don't think Todd Helbing would have been given another showrunning gig by Greg Berlanti, who heads all this up, if he had issues with the cast. Why would they do that? That'd be so stupid. Now, Kreisberg, I think, would have been focused mainly on Supergirl Season 1 at that point. However, I think he would have been the one calling the shots on The Flash. I don't think any of the Helbings would have been the one saying, or had the creative or executive decision to say, okay, Patty's off the show. I think Andrew Kreisberg would have still been the one deciding that. I guess there's a big question about, does Berlanti get involved in this? Did he pass on it? I don't know. I think it could open up a complete hornet's nest of issues around it, but I don't think she's too salty about it because, as I said, or as the thing says, she'd sign on to another show. So she wasn't just fired and put into the abyss and had nowhere to go to. She had a show to go to. I think she was just disappointed with how this all wrapped up and ended at that stage, in her career and stuff like that and on The Flash. But yeah, I think if we have to probably point the finger, it's at Kreisberg, because I think he would have been the one that had, the only one out of those people outside of Berlanti to write the character out and shift any plans. But obviously, Berlanti's still on the show. She says the person who kicked her off is no longer there. And he was causing issues on set. So that's what Kreisberg was pretty much accused of, and that's why he's no longer working on any of these shows. Now, this brings up another question. Could Patty return? I'd love to see it. I think you have to do it in an interesting way, not bring the same Patty back. But obviously, we've had Crisis, so Earth Prime Patty, anyone? Maybe she could be Hot Pursuit. I think we've been asking for that, and if she was going to come back, it'd be pretty cool. Obviously, there's the new multiverse to be discovered, so maybe once they do that, there's a cool multiverse version of Patty. I guess it depends on her schedule, like what Chantel's doing. This is without me giving any spoilers for The Boys Season 2 if you haven't watched it. But I guess it depends on what she's doing, whether it works with the story, even if it's just for an episode. I think it'd be a cool filler episode to have her show up, or maybe like a 2 or 3 episode arc. Why not do it? And not make it like a romantic thing with Barry. Make it like someone that maybe they knew each other, but there was no romantic stuff in the past because of Crisis and everything like that, or if it is a multiverse version as well. So I'd like to see it. Let's do it. Hashtag bring Patty back for 1 episode. That's a weird hashtag, but maybe it might get the attention of people. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this video somewhat insightful and just sort of puts to ease the whole Patty situation for now, at least in regards to what happened in Season 2. If she comes back, then that's awesome, even if it's for a short time. But just like the weirdness and oddity around how her character ended in Season 2. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over. And of course, if you are new to the channel, why not subscribe to the channel? And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.